record mode. We here. Everybody's on. So another day, another dollar, people.
You mean pennies, nickels, and dimes?
Another day, another dollar. It is. It seems like it's man. The weather's all screwed up, and I guess everything around us is all screwed up.
I don't know what kind of weather you got, but we got beautiful weather here in
Man,
southern Florida.
shit. It's cold. It's cool. It rained all morning up here, and now it's dull outside, the sun trying to shine through, but the clouds is holding it back. So
I feel for you, bro.
yeah, well, that's why you moved down there. They call it the what? The Sunshine State.
The Sunshine State.
Oh man.
Like Richard
We
Pryor said, put a little sunshine on your face.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna talk about the usual personal stuff. Did you see, man, that OPEC done lost a couple of their members and stuff now? Their little state they all those countries they got over there that got oil and gas and everything, they have one hell of a time, man, trying to keep their stuff together.
Well, the oil ring syndicate, they know
Yeah.
they on their last leg, bro.
Yeah, they are, man. They don't know how to deal with this stuff, man. This is the first time that those Arabs over there had to really uh start dealing with issues and stuff and everything. They always let the United States and stuff handle their problems. But since
When
Trump
you
ain't
say Arabs, you mean Arabs?
Arabs, yep.
Oh,
I mean the folks over there who the sheiks and stuff who wear those robes and run around here and think they almighty because they got all the money.
they ain't got all the money, bro.
Well, they said they got all the money. They said they got MBS said he's full of money. He done built that big magic city over there underground and spent a couple of $1 trillion and stuff to build it. So he figured he got all the money in the world. He done put it out that they got so much money that they don't even know where it's coming from. According to MBS, Mohammed bin Salam. But I don't know, man. They're having a very difficult time over there. Those Iranians and stuff, man, then shook the Middle East up. I mean, they done shook that place up. And
Well, I
now,
think that was done by design. Like I said, the optical of different things that what they wanted to happen is happening. It's happening here. All the things that they wanted to happen is happening. They want to bring down some pigs.
I don't believe that they knew exactly how this stuff was going to come about, but it looks like it's falling in their favor.
Whose favor?
Iran.
Not really.
Well, they just had a meeting. I think it was yesterday, and the what they call this council here, uh, the General Committee for uh, man, I can't hardly read my writing here. The General Committee for the Nuclear Treaty. They had a big meeting and stuff yesterday, and they elected Iran to be a vice president of this treaty group. They call it the General Committee for Non-Proliferation Treaty, who deals with the nuclear. issues and stuff around the world. And they had a big council meeting there, and they had the United States was there, Australia, UK, and a bunch of nations and stuff around the
Don't mean
world.
the hill of beans, bro.
Ah,
Don't mean the hill of beans.
what do you mean?
Ed, I keep telling you, bro, this is a religious war.
Well, I'm not talking about the war. I'm talking about this nuclear proliferation
But
treaty that
what I'm saying is all of those things is very admirable. You know, they're trying to have diplomacy. Those people that's in the administration are educated along with the other countries. However, you have those radicals who hate Israel along with America. And they're going to keep on doing what they're going to do.
well, this is a little bit different. This is a little bit different than that. They United States started the war supposedly to take away Iran's capabilities of dealing with their nuclear weapons and getting rid of their nuclear stockpile for the uranium and all that, and for them to turn around and elect these guys as vice president of the group and stuff that can for the whole world that controls the nuclear weapons and stuff and nuclear energy and stuff around the world. It's a big deal. Not only religious, but it's a big deal. Yes, because man, it's I was very impressed by what the heck happened. And knowing that the United States and stuff had told the council and stuff and everything that they don't agree with making Iran part of the council in the first place, and then electing them to be one of the vice presidents and stuff is unheard of. And the UK and stuff also said that they didn't want them to be in there, and Australia put their uh, they added their thing to the council and start putting Iran and stuff in there. They didn't think that because Iran, this is the first time that they've been involved in this thing that they
Well, let me ask you a question. Was China in it? Was Russia in it? Was North Korea in it?
North Korea's not in it.
Was China in it?
Yep, Russia's in it.
And North Korea is not.
United States is in it.
India,
India's in it.
Pakistan,
Pakistan,
was
South
Israel
Korea,
there?
South Korea.
What about Israel?
They weren't there at that meeting, but they are in it.
Right.
They weren't at this meeting that they had, but they are in it.
And who represented the United States?
The United States, they have their own representative that they brought to the to the treaty meeting. There's an ambassador and stuff and everything that Trump nominated to be on that non-proliferation treaty committee. He gave a very, very long statement and stuff in disagreement of allowing Iran to be a vice president, knowing what's going on now in the Middle East. And Australia, they was vehemently and stuff was upset because of that. And it was quietly done. Nobody, other than those three countries, the UK, United States, and Australia, nobody else was against it. And Iran came out, their representative came out and made a very, very strong statement. And they spoke very harshly against the United States and how they were acting and stuff as far as their participation in this treaty organization. and they spoke very strongly about the fact that Donald Trump had tore up that agreement and stuff that they had, uh, and said that he wasn't going to follow it. This was back in 2019 when he tore up the agreement that Obama had made. Matter of fact, the whole world had made with Iran, and they spoke very harshly about that and stuff at the meeting.
And rightfully so.
And most of the people there at the treaty meeting and stuff was very quiet. They didn't say a whole heck of a lot. I guess they knew that the United States and a couple of other nations were going to be upset about it, but they quietly went head on and said, pound the gavel, said, "All right, we're going to make them vice president." Bam, that's it. And so after that, they said, "Well, we'll hear the dissents," and that's when United States they came out with a long statement, but it was I thought it was very, very enlightening. This is, man, this is going to be. They have actually changed. Iran has changed the whole Middle East, man. What they have done have changed the whole Middle East, and I never thought that this would be possible for them to do that. That that country there to be able to do that and do what they have done, even though that a lot of their military and their air force and their navy and stuff has been destroyed. And they came in and bombed Tehran and a bunch of other places and stuff and everything. And we're finding out now that, like you was talking about yesterday, that those two guys that they came over there to rescue, something funny going on, real funny. That nobody's heard anything about them guys. Nobody's said anything about them. United States haven't opened their mouth about them. These guys haven't came about, and these news people and stuff in this country have not brought this shit up as to what the hell went on and why all those daggone planes and stuff and everything got stuck over there in the mud and the helicopters got destroyed and all this other stuff. Nobody's saying anything about it. It is big mystery.
This whole world is a mystery now. And this country is more than a mystery because we don't know shit. You know, I've been listening to the YouTubers about this knucklehead who supposedly run up in there and supposedly shot. We don't know anything. We don't know if whoever shot 2 shots or 3 or 4 shots, who else was shooting? Was he being shot at? They showed film of the guy running extremely fast, and all the other people was on each side. They supposed to be guarding the hallway, and he ran right past them. But yet they praising these people because one little 6'2", 180-pound guy, if he weighed that much, got through their perimeter, which I've been told, or at least information, saying that whenever you go to one of those things, they check your purse, they do all of that. They got 10 or 15 different places where you have to be checked. Something is wrong with this picture, bro.
You must not have heard that hidden mic thing controversy that came up. Did you see that? There was a hidden mic thing. There was a I don't know if it was a photographer or somebody, but they had a mic that was sitting out, and one of the officers, the police officers, or the security people and stuff and everything, was sitting there talking to his friend, and he was telling him that this thing that they had going on is highly unusual. That they didn't have any security people out front at all. They had a couple of women out there who were checking folks in. That was it.
There you
There wasn't
go.
no there wasn't no Secret Service people out there guarding the gate. And the police officer, they took they had them on a hidden mic, and he was saying that, hey, this is unusual. He was sitting there laughing about it. So there's nobody out there, nothing but when I walked in, he said they had was these two ladies out there checking people into the this conference thing here. So
It was
really,
staged, bro. It was staged.
yeah,
The
really
whole
there
thing
wasn't.
was staged.
Well, the only part that got me confused and stuff is the brother that they arrested and stuff and everything. What was his what was his role in this whole thing? Why was he there? Why did he there? I don't know. That's the only thing. The other stuff, yeah, you're right. I can agree with that. That shit looked like it was staged and bad. I'm just wondering that last little link, the guy that they had on the ground down there, why was he there?
And if he shot somebody and then the police officers claim he got shot,
Well, according to the news people and stuff at that conference and stuff they had with the attorney general, he didn't say that anybody was shot. They asked him, the news people asked him, was the guy shot? And he said, well, we still investigating.
well, that's the grapevine that they putting out. Even the clown show said he was shot.
Well, I'm just saying they had a news conference with I just watched it yesterday, and they had the attorney general. They asked the attorney general point blank who was shot, and he said, well, we're still investigating.
Well, that's just like when that Charlie Kirk got shot. It's a whole bunch of unnecessary information that's out there, and they're not giving us all the information. And the stuff is staged, bro. I mean, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I heard someone's, Jonathan Caper ex- giving his opinion about he don't know. All he know is he heard shots and he hung under the table, and he rightfully should be fearful because he heard shots.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
at
there.
the thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. That you should be fearful because you heard shots because they don't care who they mow down anyway. The bottom line is that the incident happened. That was true, but don't mean it wasn't staged. And it don't mean that it was staged. I don't know because we're not getting adequate information. We don't know nothing about the guy. All we know is that he went to college, got his master's degree. He's an electrical engineer, and he was a school teacher. And he had taken some type of photographic picture with Vance's wife.
Now that's the
We
first
don't
I
know
heard of
what his
that.
background is, what his relationships is. We don't know nothing. Money will make you do almost anything. Somebody offer you a couple of $1,000,000. I'm not saying that he getting paid or he got paid or whatever. It's just my opinion that people will do anything for a little money. And then they end up, he be in jail for a few months and he out. So I'm just saying, bro, I don't believe nothing these people tell me no more. Nothing.
Well, I'm still on this trying to figure out how do you extrapolate being in this hotel with the correspondence dinner into the fact that now that they had a gunman who wasn't even near the president at all. He was out, they got him out in the hallway. We don't know who in the hell he wanted to go up in there and shoot. There was hundreds of
We
people
ain't
up
seen
in there.
no weapons.
Yeah, there was hundreds of people up in there. Hell, he might have had his girlfriend up there. He would try to, if she was with her boyfriend, he was going to go up in there and shoot her because she was he was mad because she was out with her boyfriend. Anything like that could have
We
happened.
have not seen one weapon. None.
And how did we get from the man being arrested out there into the fact that we got to take $500 million of our funds and build that goddamn building that he tore down? How do we get there? I don't understand this shit. And they got these new people out there saying, "Yeah, we need that building." And that crazy ass Lindsey Graham, we need the building, and America. And I'm not gonna be satisfied until we spend $500 million on that building. And that was supposed to be a private
These
venture.
supposed already got over 200 million.
Yeah, it was a private venture. They should have had enough. They should have had enough money already. The only reason why they stopped in the first place is because there were problems and stuff with the building and stuff and everything, and the building of the building, because that knucklehead should have never tore that damn thing down in the first place. There's asbestos all over the damn place. They don't even know what happened to it. All that the construction items that they tore down and they put into these daggone trucks. Nobody knows where that shit went. What happened to it? Full of asbestos.
You know what? We got a sorry government right now, administration. They don't give a shit about nothing. Got a sorry administration. And there's nothing the Democrats can do about it because they ain't in charge of the White House, the Senate, or Congress. And it's the little things that turns the boat. And right now, that boat is not turning, bro. It's going straight ahead.
He's going straight. It ain't
It's
turning no
going
more. Okay.
straight, bro. It ain't turning. So, because the people sort of kind of placating this like it ain't nothing. A lot of people upset because of the gas prices and the food prices. You know, that's what we are. You know, we be concerned about our own pocketbook, and rightfully so. You should be concerned. You was paying a loaf of bread for $4 a loaf. Now it costs $6 a loaf. So you was paying $3.45 a gallon. Now you're paying $4.20. Of course. But the point is that they are making so many different drastic changes and making so many mistakes that things that were set up where you could not do something like that. You can't take some tampered products and then dump them wherever you want to. You have to dump those things or take care of those things and accelerate those things the way they're supposed to be done properly. Because that can affect people. But no, they don't care about regulations and things, procedures and rules. Just like you had the president, the vice president, the speaker of the house in the same damn building. Now, you knew about that shit when you was a little kid. You never put the president and the vice
And the vice
president
president
in the
and
same
never
building.
in the same building at the same time. That never happened. You're right. It has never happened. I was wondering why he was there, the vice president. I didn't know if I was the only one who saw that, but you never have that because anybody can come in there and kill them both and everything. And hell, the government is shot. Every last one of them is in the same daggone building at the same time. Yep, you're right. That is not something that happens all the time. It's always if you got the president someplace, the vice
But
president
here's the
someplace.
thing though, Ed. Here's the thing though, bro. How can you be the president, shots fired, he don't even know, supposedly don't even know what's going on, shots fired. He don't even know if that person's got a bomb on him that can blow up the whole building. He don't know if what? He don't know nothing. But he gonna sit there and just sit there. And he heard the guns and he see people getting under the table. He's just sitting there. Then they finally grab him and tell him to leave. J.D. Vance is gone. His wife is gone. And then, if you ever notice, if you look at the picture, when he was going out, he was trying to go out like he was running out like some kind of hero because his head was still standing straight. I said, this man's supposed to be bent over. People supposed to be covering him. And they didn't even bother to push his head because he probably told him, don't mess with my hair.
Can't mess with that fluff.
So it's a joke. It's a joke. And we'll never know about this guy because once the information get out, somebody will knock him off. We don't know nothing about this guy. A lot of people say that he was a nice guy and all that, but we don't know. We'll never know.
Lot of unanswered questions. A lot of questions and stuff that this
Well,
crap is totally irregular.
the good thing about it is that there are Congress people and some senator people are not letting this Epstein case go away. They realizing that this ain't nothing but distractions after distractions after distractions. And they've already tried to contact the king and they tried to get him to meet those ladies that were molested. He said he wouldn't meet them, but he will address it because they addressed it in their country. So that conversation, when they stand in front of the American people, the king and the president, he will address it. So we'll see what he says about it, but because one of his relatives was involved in that, and they stripped him of everything.
That was his brother.
So I don't know, Ed. The thing is that they so steeped and died. These crooks, these pretenders of righteousness, and these pretenders of like they are so professional. They're not. When those young kids were standing there with those big old guns, you can look in their face. They lost. They was lost. They didn't even look professional. They didn't look like real armored people that knew what they were doing. I doubt, Quasi Kelp, I doubt if their armament was even loaded, because they might try to shoot somebody. I'm serious, bro. You go back and look at that tape and look at those they nothing but a bunch of little kids. They look like they didn't know what they were doing, man. You know, I could be wrong, but to me, that's just it's the whole thing looked like it was staged. And how could they? How in the world? Who has some military force already jump out on stage? Is that the procedure? I thought the agents are the ones that. I don't know.
They weren't there, Ted. There's the regular Secret Service people who was supposed to be protecting that old boy were not there.
Boy, we getting bamboozled to the highest level. American people is being bamboozled to the highest level.
Let me throw something out here. I'm in the back of my mind here, I'm thinking that somebody out there or some organization wants to see that man dead.
Oh,
They want to see him gone. They tried to assassinate him. They want to see him gone. And they would do anything they can to see him gone. I don't know if you've noticed it and stuff, but the vice president has not been involved in a lot of this crap that's going over in Iran. He didn't want to go over there to Pakistan to deal with that the supposedly quote unquote peace talks. And that was the reason why he didn't even pick him to even come over there last Saturday to go for those peace talks, because he doesn't want to be involved in that stuff. Him and Hetzell are battling it out with each other. I don't know who's going to win, but they both are battling it out.
when you say battling it out, what do you mean?
I mean, they are bashing each other out because Hetzell is telling Donald Trump something about the war that the vice president knows is not true. He's telling the president that they went into war, and the vice president knows that we are not. And he's upset because he's telling the president all this bull crap, and it is not true. Everybody knows it. And why is the president all of a sudden saying that they went into war and they then did all this and did all that, and they are not, and we are not winning that war, and there's not a whole lot of people and stuff out there, Ted, who really understands what's going on, know that we are not winning that damn war.
Well, the man is not dumb and he's not stupid. He might be off the rocker, but even he looks at news, bro. And if he's just watching Fox News and One Nation and all those other little conservative stations, but if he's looking at all the news, which he does, he knows. What he's trying to do is convince and market to his people, his sycophants, that he's winning. And he's doing this because some whatever reason, you got Putin who wants America to just fall to his knees. You got Israel, who needs America and wants America to help them fight the Middle East. So, all of those factors is, we already know that in my opinion, I think Putin is kind of directing him and some other people too. Because this oil thing, it's on its last leg. They try to make as much profit as they can. There was I'm going to say this, and this might sound crazy, but there was a spirit in the world to try to get rid of all of this petroleum usage, cut it down. You're going to always need, oil for things, what have you. But as far as car usage and what have you, that's why a lot of these companies are going electric. They're going all kinds of other ways to use less oil. And these oil people are scared to death. They're trying to stop it. That's the reason why they knocking down any corporations, car dealerships, or car builders about building all of these electric cars. So they're on their last leg, bro, and they know they're on their last leg. They're gonna always be petro corporations, but to make the kind of money that they're making now, bro, they're making big buku. They stock has jumped 25%.
Well, they probably trying to make as much money as they can right now, because that is a viable.
That's a viable commodity. Ain't no question
Yeah,
about that.
but it's a viable thing and stuff that somebody is trying to force you right people to stop using those fuels.
But
Get
they're always going
get
to be
to
needed, but not as
get to
needed as
yeah
much as.
get to renewable energy and stuff instead of this bull crap that's going on. And I can understand that because I'm all for that.
Yeah, he cut all the
Mhm.
renewable, all those different programs that was established. He cut all that out.
Yeah, get rid of that fossil fuel. We need to get rid of it. It's destroying this world. It's destroying the climate. It's destroying what's going on around us. So, whatever we can do to get rid of the fossil fuels, I'm all for it. And if that's what we have to do to do it, then hey, let's do it. They got they got me, because that's how
But let's
I'm
let's
all for
let's
that.
let's let's give me a couple of seconds here. What is the next? Because right now everybody's into IT. These IT companies. That's what's keeping the stock market going. But there's always been some type of thing that keeps America top dog. So some type of commodity. Back in the slavery days, it was cotton, tobacco. For a while in the agricultural centuries, there was corn and soybeans. But now other countries knew how to develop their own corn and soybeans. Most clothing and apparel is not made out of cotton now. So what is the big thing? The auto industry was a big thing, and selling millions and millions of cars every year all over the world. But people realize now because they've been run by gas, is destroying the world. So now they're trying to figure out what is the big thing. And now what they're trying to push is robotics,
Correct.
which
And
is an experiment that they've been trying for decades and decades. However, you got 800, what you got, 8 billion people plus, and you have a workforce of billions of people. So the question is, where the jobs gonna come from?
they're there.
So it's a lot of people. I was listening to one of these news people, and they were trying to figure out, and they said it out loud. He said, diversification is a real thing. She was just saying, well, to be honest with you, and I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not quoting her, but what I'm saying is she was just being real. She said, well, at one point gold was a hot thing. It went over 5,000, now it's not. And you got your real estate, you got your stock market, high tech. She was just going down the things of investments and things that you have to diversify with in order to keep your money tight and to grow. And that's what everybody's looking at. What's the new thing? What's the hot thing? Because the 20%, I would say 30% of the people in this country, I can't speak for all over the world, but 30% of the people live off their stock. They live off of dividends. They live off of the stock market. They live off securities. That's where their money coming from. Because they got millions of dollars invested in all this stuff. And they getting a check every quarter or every month. So this is what everybody's trying to figure out. And you got calamity because you got a person that's unstable, and he called himself the unstable genius. So now everybody's trying to figure things out on where to put their money, their investments. The 30%, that is. So the money, and you look at what they did, the Arabs. You talking, they minuscule. They ain't got that many people. They've been making billions and billions of dollars in the oil industry, and they converted a lot of that money, profits, and buying stock all over the world, investing. So they got their money spread all over the world.
I think, and well, I believe this, that once Donald Trump came into power and he took over the job as a president of this country, our whole focus has not been where it should be at to continue to make the United States the leader of the free world. And through all this stuff, Ted, and anybody else out there who was listening, his thing has not been America first. It's been Donald Trump first, and what he can steal and what his folks can steal, what they can get and put into their pockets instead of trying to build this country up. There is nothing that he has done since he has been the president and everything to build the United States up. You want to make America first, then make America first. Start dealing with what's going on in this country. And he has not been doing that. You see where he is focusing his whole focus on taking money out of people's pockets. He started this tariff crap. The hell? Everybody knows that the tariff is not being paid by the companies and stuff who are exporting their products into our country. It is paid by the people in your country. But he has, I don't know if it's been successfully done it, but he has decided that to tell the American people, well, they're going to pay their tariff. You're not paying it. And he's lying to us, taking money, our disposable income, and making us pay more money. And he's doing that and everything because he knows that he's going to have to pay for all this bull crap that he's got going on, all this money that he has stolen, all his friends have stolen. But we have to realize and stuff here that we're going to have to build this country up. We're going to have to put money into our country, United States, until we get someone in power who can change the course of where he's going. We're going to be going down. We're not going to look very good.
Well, as long as you got these two parties and they're totally opposite, and they are be able to manipulate the people, we're an unstable country politically. They have bamboozled these people, thinking that some of them thinking that we are the righteous country in the world, and some of them think that we are more, I would say, divided than really we're not as divided as they say we are. But you have a lot of people, that's why they come out, there's going to be a civil war and all that crap. So, and then you have the greedy people. So you got these greedy people. You got these people talking about civil war. And you got these people who think that we are so divided politically. So now the world is looking at us because what are we supposed to be? The United States. We're supposed to be the United States. All our states are supposed to be united. We care about each one of the people that are each and every one of them that's in those states. And we already know there's about 10 or 15 of them is going broke. We're not taking care of our people. And the reason why we're not taking care of our people, in my opinion, now this is just me, just looking at the numbers, they don't care because most of those people are new Americans. They just got off the boat. So why should they care about them? Yeah, a few of them make it through and they get good jobs and they become doctors, lawyers, engineers, journalists, and they get in working for the government and all that. But that's only very few of them. Most of them are just working day labor stuff, regular jobs like everybody else. All these new Americans for the last 50, 60 years. Now, what disturbs me is, and I said this the other day, when you building buildings the size of 10 football fields to house people that have done nothing but come here, unfortunately, they came here undocumented, and they just got them in a house, and it costs millions and millions and millions of dollars to feed and clothe them. What are you going to do with all those people? That's the question, and nobody seems to care. Well, that's a lie. There are people that care.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that's trying to fight this thing. But the point is, Why would you even do that?
Because that is the vision and that is the view of Project 2026. That was their vision and stuff, and that was their boilerplate ideas that they had when they put that Project 2026. That in 2024, when the election going on, everybody denied that there was a Project 2026. But it is
2025.
25. Sorry, Project 2025. That's what they had. So everybody denied it, but it's there. That was in their plan. This is how they figured that they were going to run this country. And you had your architects and stuff, your op of this whole plan, and they're trying to implement this plan,
And this is exactly what they're doing, bro.
but it's
Got
not
them.
working. It is not working. You got so many people out there fighting it. I don't know if you listened to the Rachel Maddow show last night or whatever, but she did a synopsis sequence and stuff on all of these buildings and stuff that the ICE folks and stuff are building to house these immigrants that they're planning on putting in these buildings that you're just talking about. And she said there's something like 19 of those projects going on all around the country. And in each one of the places where they're trying to build these daggone buildings and stuff and everything, the community have risen up and fought, and successfully fought them and those buildings being there in their community. They do not want them there, and they said over 16 of these communities have successfully stopped it completely. So those buildings are sitting there, and they've got what 38 some $billion that they got set aside to do this with, and all the money is going to these no bid contractors and stuff. They're coming in and charging the government any kind of money they want to charge them to put these buildings up and everything, and they're paying their friends and they neighbors and stuff to do it, and they're making big money off of it. But they cannot implement it because the community and stuff is not letting them do it. That was their plan. That was Mr. Steve Miller's plan. He wanted to have him some concentration camps, just like they did in Germany, and he has not been successful at doing it because the country is fighting him every inch, every step of the way. So if we can keep this fight going for another 6 months, we might be able to stop this crap. I don't know. And when I say 6 months, I'm looking at the midterms, which we may or may not have.
That's true. Because they're always scheming. They scheming, boy. They thinking of all kind of ideas.
They scheming.
They're in what they call the war room right now, thinking of ideas and coming up with all kinds of things. They bring in smart people who is evil, paying them a lot of money to come up with all kind of scheming ideas of how they can steal this election.
And hopefully we can keep this thing going to where they won't be able to do it. Or we can figure out something and stuff that we can enlighten our voters and stuff and everything instead of just hoping and praying that this crap happens. Because,
Well, one of
like
the
we keep
things that,
saying,
when you say enlighten, the one thing that, these aggressive, progressive, and aggressive people that's out there, when you hear them, when you hear these YouTubers out there dogging the Democrats only and programming these people that listen to these YouTubers to not to vote or to not vote for Democrats, somebody needs to start calling them on the carpet, finding out who these people are. Because I know they're getting paid. Because, it don't take a whole lot. If you're going through TikTok or YouTube or any of all these other little media outlets, and you got enough people, couple of dozen people that's talking that crap all the time, you know, and the Democrats, are not that assertive or aggressive. They say, yeah, they ain't no good. They ain't doing nothing. They just as worse as the Republicans. So they start agreeing with them. And so why should I vote? So, and it just takes a little bit of mental conversation, and then they persuade it. So that's sad, but that's just the way it is. People don't understand that voting is our one thing of constitution that we have as a citizen to get representation so that that person can represent our community. And yet they don't want to vote to put the right person in.
Well, that's something that we as independents or whatever we call ourselves and stuff have to continue to do to call this crap out any time we can, because that's our only weapon that we have to be able to get the right people in there. You got to keep pounding this stuff, and it may sound redundant, but we just got to keep pounding in these
I
folks'
don't know
heads.
how do you stop these knuckleheads that's being paid, and I'm talking about black and brown people is doing it, everything they can to dog black people, to dog the politicians. I don't know how you can stop it, because these so-called active young people that's out there, they need to start dealing with these people. And not only that, why not you have an army of force of people to counteract those people? These Democratic people got to start paying these people some money so they can counteract all of this social media stuff. You got to start paying these people money, a salary, and put them on your staff and say, hey, get out there and fight these people on social media. You have to get out there and start dealing with these people, and because they're putting out false information. I don't know how many times do we have to say this stuff if you're not assertive and aggressive enough to try to, because when you don't have enough voters that's not voting, you can't win. The reason why Miss Lady, your girl from Texas, didn't win because enough voters didn't vote, and plus they was playing games with the voters.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because in essence and stuff, that is probably the uh, the game plan and stuff and everything for the midterm elections, to be able to stop these folks from voting, and to also challenge these voters out there to go into these different precincts and stuff and everything. And so many people who have voted and stuff and everything change their voting places, do and force them to bring uh, identification that you don't know ordinarily have to bring. There's no way in the world and stuff that everybody is going to be able to go out there and when they come to the voting place and stuff, bring their damn birth certificate. That shit is almost fucking impossible for everybody to do. And that is a way to disenfranchise people. There's another form of gerrymandering. And that's probably exactly what they're going to do, because we already know that in Girlfriends County of Dallas County and stuff and everything, they disenfranchised damn near 100,000 people. And how they could be able to do that and everything and get away with it, and nobody says anything about it or even try to fight it, shows you and stuff exactly what's going on, shows you the mentality of the Democratic Party. because in actuality, the Democratic Party stopped her from filing a petition and stuff in the court and everything about what the hell they did. Democratic Party come out and say, "Hey, don't worry about it, we got it," and they didn't do shit. Their own party. But like I just said, that could be the game plan and stuff for November. And are the Democrats going to be ready for it? I have no idea. Are we talking to our voters and stuff and identifying these people and calling them up and saying, "Hey, get your birth certificates. Get your birth certificates. Go down to the courthouse or wherever you got to go and pay whatever you need to pay to get your birth certificate because they may ask you for that when you come to vote." And there's a huge possibility that they could be doing that. So let's start now. As a matter of fact, right now is a little bit too late. But we may have to start doing that. And I don't know why the Democrats haven't got together and said, "Hey, we need to do this." They're going to try to pass some acts or pass whatever it is, or the federal government's going to try to tell people you got to have your birth certificate if you're going to be able to vote, or your passport. I don't even have my passport, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to vote and stuff in my district and stuff because I know the polling. I know the people who work the polls, so they're not going to stop me from voting. They my neighbors. Everybody don't have that luxury. If you can stop 5 or 10% of the voters in certain precincts and everything from voting, you can win the elections.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. You can get
That's
5 or 10% of those in a certain precincts. In certain precincts, you can get that, and you can maximize your votes coming out of where you know your powerhouse is at. You're going to win.
there's a thing called early voting. And I can tell you for a fact, that's the best way to vote.
It is, but they've also realized now, especially in our state here in Georgia, that early voting and stuff and everything was the way that Republicans and stuff 10 years ago and everything could be able to maximize how they doing it. But we've had people who smart folks who came around and now they're telling our voters and stuff early vote or go out and vote and everything. So they're doing things to stop people from early voting. They're bringing up all kind of roadblocks about early voting. You can't do this, you can't do that. Well, then that's our responsibility. You got to have your voter protection organization stuff going. I have no idea where they at, especially in my county or in these counties and stuff here where I live at, because in these collar counties and stuff that we have over 50 some percent of the people and stuff in this whole state of Georgia and stuff live in these 3 or 4 counties and stuff that's surrounding me. You get enough of your people out of these daggone counties and stuff, and you can win any statewide election in this state of Georgia. But you're gonna have to get these people and stuff out to vote, especially our people. Especially our people.
Well, they always say, well, 93% of the people of the Democratic Party, black women voted. Over 80%, a little more than 80% of the black men voted Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still probably another 3 to 5 million people that didn't even vote.
Didn't vote. That's the problem. That's the problem. And you also have
And
these,
crucial districts.
and you also have these so-called liberal Democrats who are supposedly uh, for Democrats and stuff to vote for them, but you right there in the state of Texas and stuff, you have these folks are telling this young lady and stuff that we don't need MAGA voters and stuff and everything. If we just get our people out there to vote and get them out there to vote, we can win. And you've got these liberal, so-called liberal white folks and stuff sitting down there saying, nope, you got to get these MAGA people to vote for you. If you get the people out, and she's already approved that, if you can get your people out to vote, you can win. In that state anyway. But they stopped them from getting out and voting.
Well, you know, those people that are listening to us, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there, you know, we'd like for you to subscribe and pass it along. This is a conversation that everybody should have in their household. This is a conversation because now we see exactly what this man is doing and what he has done. Destroy the poor, destroy black folks, and demolish the Latinos. So the question, he's doing a good job, bro. He's doing it. He's doing all the things that these white supremacists want him to do. However, they're losing. They're losing economically. They're losing socially. They're losing spiritually. So they're miserable. And these people, whoever they are, I don't believe they're full-blown Americans. I think they're from other nations that came over here, and they might be first generation, second generation, whatever, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't understand what this country is about. This is about freedom. That's what this country is about, freedom, not about somebody controlling you and telling you what to do. This is about your own independence. This is what this country is about. You as an independent person, if you want to be an inventor or whatever, then that's your independence. If you don't want to be nothing, you can be nothing. That's your own independence. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and he was telling me, I said, man, you know, I don't hang out with nobody, or I'm mostly, you know, a loner. I might have a few friends that I might go to lunch with or what have you. But here's the thing, you know, I might run into a homeless person every now and then where I'm at, not very often. And, you know, I might give him a couple of dollars. But the point is, he's talked to some of these people. And some of these people just want to be left alone. They're happy because they don't want to be controlled. Because, see, they can get into these programs, Ed. They might be addicted to drugs or alcohol or whatever the case may be, mental unstable, but they want to be left alone. They don't want to be controlled into these, put them in these little houses and tell them every day, you know, they got to do this, they got to do that. They do not want it. Some of them are retired. They might be military or whatever, but they do not want to be controlled. And they'd rather stay outside than be living in housing. Now, whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But I know a lot of people want to be free. They don't want to be controlled. And I don't think, mentally, maybe they don't understand that you can be free and not be controlled, but you got to take care of your finances. You got to have finances because it costs money to live. You got to pay your rent, you got to pay your electric bill, you got to pay your cell phone bill, all of those things so that you can be free. That means you got to have a job or you got to have some form of income coming in to pay your bills. It's not that hard here. It's not that hard. But these people make like it's so hard, to cope with life. And some people, they are traumatized. I understand that. And I sympathize with that. But the point is, life is not that hard. And you got people that make your life hard because you got all kind of knuckleheads running around. But if you pretty much mind your business and tend to your business and stay out of the different places and stuff, you'll be fine. Majority of the time. But circumstances, sometimes things happen. People, you saw that movie that what's her name played in Straw. I think it was the name of it was Straw, and every little situation just made her build up until she ended up going off because she was trying to make it, but just couldn't get a break. And sometimes those things happen. That's why you got to turn to Jesus. I'm serious, bro. That's why you got to turn to God because He's the only one gonna bring you through. Because you got some of these people they working for the devil. So the devil gonna keep them for a while and then discard them. But hey, so I pray that that these people that's out there that's going through those things, hey, you got to turn to God. He's the only one gonna get you through it. That's just my personal opinion. Now you can take it for what you will. Yeah, I'm not no religious person, I'm not, but that works for me.
A lot of people. Final word, brother.
That is my final word.
That's your final word. Final word, final word, final word, final word. Oh, wow, man. I have enjoyed our takes today. And I hope the folks out there and everything who've been listening and everything take heed that we're out here to get us through this mess here. And folks, you got to get ready and stuff and everything for what's getting ready to come. And I heard Mr. Harvey say that he got folks out there and all they want to be is left alone. But sometimes you got to get out there. If you want to be left alone, then you're going to have to work yourself into a position to where you will be able to go and be left alone. But you also have to get out there, like you said, and find your way to make you some money. Whether you go out there and have your own little job, cutting people's grass and everything, or you a good painter, or you a good electrician, or you a good mechanic and stuff. Do your little work, do what you got to do, and then go home, and you can be left alone. But you got to do those necessary things so you can be able to be free and be left alone. And those folks and stuff who just came into this country 40, 50, 60 years ago and everything, you need to think about why you came here. You left a situation, or your parents left a situation that was bad, and they decided to come here because we had those things and stuff that you thought would make your life and your family life better. And to keep those things the way you parents or you want to be when you came here, then you're going to have to fight, and you're going to have to do the things necessary to make sure that this country stays the way it was when you first came here. You don't do that, then this country's going to fall right back into the same situation that you just came from. And we're headed that way right now with this knucklehead who's sitting there in their White House. He wants to be a king. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be able to do whatever he wants to do. He's doing it right now. And if you continue to allow him to do this, that's where you're going to be. You're going to have wherever you came from, whether it's El Salvador or whenever them countries down there, they had the dictator and they had the gangs and stuff down there who ran you away. This country's going to be the same way. That means that you left a bad situation to come into a good situation and everything, and you now turned it into a bad situation. Because before you came here, we had rights, we had voting. You went out and you voted for your representative. You want this country to be the same that you came here for, then you better get out there and start doing what you need to get done. As a citizen or as a person and stuff who wants to be a citizen of this country and stuff, you got to fight for whatever you want to happen. We had to fight for what we have now. We fought. I
They
remember
ain't letting
those
you in the
days.
club, bro.
Yeah, I remember those
They
days
are
that we
not
fought.
letting you in the club.
I remember them fights that we had for civil rights. A lot of folks died. A lot of folks got hung. A lot of folks couldn't vote. And we fought for that right for you guys to vote. And for our people and our young folks out there who says that voting don't mean anything, it means a whole hell of a lot. Go back and look at your ancestors and stuff, and they will tell you they could not vote. They were denied to vote. They were beat up. Dogs were sicked on them. Water was put on them. These people did everything they could to stop your parents from voting. So it had to be something very valuable and stuff and everything. And you guys have lost that value and stuff and everything of that vote. It's worth a hell of a lot more than you guys are looking at it at. Anyway, we're done here. I'm going to end this whole thing and stuff, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.